Alright, what's up everybody? Today we're going to go over Country Boys Vitamin Zero. Sit down and get to know me better. Um, Again, if you're joining me from TikTok, welcome. I had to do this on YouTube because, again, YouTube allows longer videos than 10 minutes. So that is why, I posted a video on TikTok to bring y'all here. This is just a video to get like what I wish I knew when I started versus what I know now. And, things along the way, my struggles, the outlooks of everything. So let's get started. When I first got started, my first platform I was on was actually YouTube. I really didn't care about going live. In fact, my first YouTube videos were actually about my church. It had nothing to do with fishing. I got into fishing and figured other people liked that sport, so I figured, why not? Not to mention, when I did that sport, I started, fishing. I started doing videos on fishing. I did start pursuing live feeds on YouTube. However, I found out there was a couple of rules where you couldn't go live on YouTube without 50 subscribers, like mobile or something like that. And I think I had like 6 or 7, which is fine. So I mean, I didn't make the rules or the criteria. And when I first started. The actual, I would say, YouTube, I found an app that actually works. I will not say the name of the app because the name of the app is like YouTube doesn't like. In fact, I think my other account on my YouTube page got banned because of that. Because it will make your YouTube go live under that percentage or under that 50 mark. However, I've learned real quick, it doesn't really make a difference, especially for someone who has lower than 50 followers, because you just ain't gonna do it. And I learned over the years that YouTube is slowly, in my opinion, losing favoritism. Like, there ain't a lot of people on YouTube anymore that stays and watches lives and stuff. Because I've seen some big content creators that is on on YouTube, and compared to TikTok, it is like they don't hardly have nowhere near the views, lives, or the followers than they do on YouTube. So YouTube is kind of, I think, like an old, outdated technology. My second one was actually TikTok. I started, TikTok, probably a few years ago. When I first got started, I made some random videos. I mean, this shows you that I did not know what I was going to do. It's me, TikTok videos of me shooting my bow. I have a recurve bow, and that video is actually still up there. Me shooting like guns and stuff like that up there, and again, that video is still up there. And stuff like that. I didn't really know what I was gonna do until I found out that you got to start. I learned from people you had to start going out with content. That's how you got. Because back when I started, you had to have 1,000 followers to go live. Now, to be honest, I never thought I was going to actually get to 1,000 followers. I really didn't. I, just enjoyed doing the videos, and that was about it. With that being said, I finally, after about 6 months only of making, videos, I mean, they weren't nothing special. Like I said, the best thing I can tell anyone who's starting out is be genuine with your followers. Be real with them. Let them see you're transparent. I don't edit my videos. If I make a mistake in this video, y'all will see it. I promise you. 'Cause I mean, I don't even know how to edit videos, so there's that. Um, but be transparent with your followers. Definitely. But when I started like doing videos, they were like short videos, little to me dumb videos. Like I'd be like, I mean, I didn't even have a tripod, y'all. Like I literally held my phone and say, "Hey man, what's up? This is Country Boy Fisherman. You know, if I catch anything, I'll come back to you with another video." That's literally what I did. Like if I caught a fish, I'm like, "Hey y'all, I caught a fish. See this fish right here? It's a," and I just told them what it was, and that was pretty much it. Or if I didn't catch it, I'm like, "Hey, today we got a skunk. You know, tough luck." You know, and I started doing those kind of videos, and I started making videos about like how to set your drag and all that stuff, how to cast a bait caster, and you know, stuff like that, and yeah, and then there's little weird videos about fishing, and apparently people loved it, and it took off. So I would always say to the people who's trying to do this content creating thing, do what you love. Don't worry about the haters, because trust me, there will be haters. Just do what you love. Um, but like I said, right now, I'm over 3,000 followers, 3,100. I could not honestly tell you y'all right now off the top of my head what my number one, like, what my actual number of followers are. Cannot tell you. Not to be dead honest. I mean, I don't know. Not that I don't care, it's just that numbers, I would rather have quality over quantity. I mean, if I can't, you know, give them a good show and be dedicated to my followers and my fans, then the numbers don't really mean much to me. I mean, I want to be the same person that I am, you know, at 3,000 followers that I am at 1 million followers. I mean, I have seen so many content creators change who they are over like, okay, here it is, you know, I'm at 1,000 followers, and then next thing you know, they're at like whatever, like up there around 2-3 million followers, and they're like, oh no, I'm better than everybody else. See, I don't want to be like that. I'm not going to be like that. Another thing that, you know, people have asked me is, what do I wish I knew then that I knew now? Going like into digital creating and going live. One thing I really wish I did know, I got tongue tied. What I really wish I did know back then when I started was lives destroy your battery. Like, I have right now recording a iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I can get maybe an hour and a half out of a live. That's it, by itself. Now I did have, so you will definitely have to buy some kind of inverter or power bank or generator if you plan on going live, you know, 5, 6, 7 hours, because yeah, it ain't gonna do it by itself. I don't care how big or how good your phone is, it ain't gonna happen. So I wish somebody did tell me, hey, by the way, your lives eat up your, you know, your data. I mean, sorry, your battery life, because it does. Another thing I wish I did know is these things right here, which is a bait caster, they have a very, very, very big learning curve. I would recommend anyone that starts off to put mono up here. You'll thank me later. Because mono is a lot cheaper to learn off of than braid. I mean, now I do have braid up there because I've got this thing tuned now where I can throw it and I can hold it like this and throw it. I mean, I don't even have to hold a spool once I cast it. Because again, I know how to cast these so well now. But like I said, it took me 6 months to get to where I can do that. So yeah, they definitely are a learning curve. Definitely. Another thing I wish I knew then that I knew now that has been a lifesaver for me is, you know how some rods have these hook holders like this one right here on my baitcaster. Some does not. Now I always wondered how could I, fix that. Well, found out it's an easy fix. All you need is a zip tie that goes around the rod and a zip tie that holds the hook. That's it. Another thing that I wish I knew now, or knew then, that I knew now, is learn artificial fishing. Even if you do not like it. I know there's some people who do not like it, and yet I'm not crazy about it. Every once in a while I like the challenge, but like these little things right here. These are little grubs. These are good for panfish, crappie, heck, even a bass will hit them. In the wintertime, this is what I use. I use rooster tails and stuff in the winter or in the summer. But a lot of times I use these little things right here. Learn to use these and pair it with like a spinning reel. Because I promise you, you will thank me later when it comes down to it. Because when you learn to use artificial, it will save you money when you don't have no money. I have been many times where I just didn't have the extra income because I had bills, responsibilities, things like that I had to take care of before I could go fishing. And I mean, face it, we are adults here, so I just didn't have the extra money for the bait. Because I mean, let's face it, around where I live at, worms now are like $5-10 a cup, and like if you go buy your bait, like catfish bait, yeah, that ain't cheap either. So I mean, bait ain't getting cheaper. So learn artificial fishing. Like I said, this right here will catch you all the bluegill and crappie you need. And then of course, in this wintertime, I've learned like corn can also catch bluegill. Again, you can go to the grocery store, 50 cents, lots of corn. So that's another thing. Another thing that I've learned that I wish I do know then, you'll hear people say, I don't know if y'all probably heard this, but you need to take these apart and grease these main worm gears. No. Let me tell you why. I have a Penn Wrath 8000. Now, I'm not going to pull it out because it's a pain in the butt and it's heavy. But that's why I use it for fishing. And I promise you, if you look it up, it's got like big reel. Like the reel is like literally. This right here is a 3000. The 8000 is that big. And I think right now I've got 60-pound braid on it, and it's like 460 yards of it, and on a spinning reel. But that tells you how big it is. It can hold up to 80-pound braid. So that tells you how up to 300 yards. So that tells you how big the reel is. But I've had that reel now for 8 years. 8 years I've had that bait caster. I'm sorry, that spinning reel. See, it tells you. I can't even edit that out. So there you go. I've had it about 8 years with that spin reel, and I can promise you that I've opened it up all the way. I've actually took the bolts out. Like there's a bolt. If you look at it, there are actually little screws and stuff that you take out here, under here. I mean, you literally got to take all these screws out. That screw. I don't know if you can see that screw right there. You got to take all the screws out and then take the handle off just to get to the worm gear. I did all that with the 8000, and when I finally took it apart this year, actually, after like 8 years of use of salt water, fresh water, being dipped into fresh water, dipped into the salt water. I actually dropped into the river in the ocean one time by mistake. I literally still had grease on the gears after 8 years. So I mean, if it's your OCD thing, go for it. Do you have to? No. Let me tell you also another reason why I found this out. It's because I paid $90 for the Penn Wrath 8000, and I mean, when it comes down to it, I paid about $8,000, about $90. Sorry, The 8,000, Pin 8,000 was around $90 for the rod and the reel. It was a combo. And I paid it for $90. That means if I get 10 years out of that service, that reel owes me nothing. I mean, literally. I mean, I can only count how many times. And then you got to think about how much fish, it brought in for you. Like, I mean, people, if you don't know, is I eat fish. So, I mean, if it brings in 3 or 4 pounds of, 10 pounds of catfish over the course of its life. I mean, catfish where I live is like $7 a pound. That's $70. So the reel will probably end up paying for itself. Another example is this bait caster. I have never, to take one of these apart, it takes 30 minutes. Because you got to remove that screw, remove this 10 millimeter bolt, take that little, silver, that copper thing off, take the handle off, undo the drag. Then you got all these little, bolts and, these bolts on the side, you got to take all these little screws, and there's screws on the other side you got to take off as well. Take the spool out. I mean, and then you lose one of those pieces, the whole reel is useless. This bait caster I've had for this coming up year will be 4 years I've had it. Again, I've never took the whole thing apart. The furthest I've ever took it apart was I took the side off, took the spool out, put oil in the bearing, put oil in this bearing, and I oiled the level wind. That's all I've done. Literally, that's it. And I can still cast this thing like 60 yards. 50 to 60 yards on a good no wind day. Like I said, on a windy day, it might be 40. So, again, no big deal. And like I said, the other one y'all just saw with my artificial lure, that one's again 3, 4 years old. And again, I've only took it apart one time. So, I mean, you don't have to do it every year, like you said. I mean, do I recommend you putting a little oil on it? Yeah, especially if you do a lot of saltwater fishing like I do, just to keep it from getting corroded. But other than that, that's it. Another question I get asked is, I wish I knew what I knew, what I knew now, what I know then, is, don't buy lanterns for nighttime fishing. And there's a reason. This thing's got one big problem. This is a 2,000 lumen lantern. Good light. The only problem is you will see there's only one problem with it. The problem is, you guessed it, it scatters the light everywhere. So in a live, I've learned that does not look good, and it's also very, very bad looking. And not to mention, these things, this right here is rechargeable. Now, it does have a place right back here where you can put D batteries. But let me tell you something. It's a very bad decision because it only lasts about 2-3 hours on high. 2 hours, I believe, on high is as much as you'll get. Alright. What I use even to this day now is one of these. This is a directional light, which means it only shines light, which means if I put it right beside my head and cut it on, once I get it past, it lights up only behind me. And that's what I like about it. This is a 2,000 lumen light. The most expensive part of this, the light was only $20, and it can be plugged into a generator if that's your thing. I run it off of a 5 amp, 90 watt hour battery. You can get these almost anywhere, like Amazon and stuff. I got mine off of Harbor Freight. And, see, again, bloopers in the video. It's got this digital thing that tells you, how, charge the battery is 150 to 25%. This battery will run this light on, low, which I don't know what low is. I know high is 2,000. I mean, it don't give out what low is. I'm guessing 1,000. 1,000 lumens, and that's just a guess because they really don't tell me in the manual what low setting is. But on low, I can run almost 15 hours on this battery. Where on high, I can run, I want to say 5 hours. on this battery. And like I said, this right here is high, and that's low. Now, another thing I wish I did know. Now, this is only for the people who's in the South. Definitely in the South. If you're going to be in the South and you're going to be hot, I don't care if it's hot, cold, whatever. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm going to be honest and dead honest with you. And let me go over this. If you are going to be, like, it don't matter if it's daytime, nighttime, or morning, it's going to be hot in the South. Invest in one of these. I wish I had many years ago. It's a fan. It puts out like 12, 13 mile an hour winds. Again, it's powered by the same thing, a 5 amp hour battery. I just use batteries because they're cheaper than gasoline. For a generator. You can use a generator, but then you got to haul that generator. And yes, I do know that there are, battery powered generators now where you can use, rechargeable battery to charge everything. And yeah, I know that. But the problem is, my budget won't allow those things. So, these batteries alone were about $90 for these two right here. Just these two are $90. So I can only imagine, like, these battery-powered generators, they're like $200-300. The ones that I actually would need, because I would need at least 1,000-watt generator, because, just to power everything. And like I said, it also depends on how fast you fish, like how long you fish. If you go like 6 hours like I do max, you don't need no more than this right here. I've never burnt up one of these batteries. Like, I've never had it to where I had this thing down to like 25% battery life. So, yeah, they last forever. And like I said, they do put out some good air. Another thing I wish I did know that I didn't know then is ring lights. They're really not necessary. I thought they would be for digital creators and stuff. Now I really only use a ring light for my YouTube videos like I do right now. And the reason is, if you're fishing and you're sitting here talking to your people, your followers, that light's going to attract mosquitoes at night. And it's going to basically kill you, pretty much, if you live in the South. Like, they're just going to be like, oh, look, you can eat buffet. And deep, they don't care. Deep does not work. Y'all, just let y'all know. I have personally used deep. I still got bit. So that's why I try not to go fishing at night in the summer, because of that very reason. But yeah, that's pretty much and another thing I wish I did know is, people always, first thing that, if you start fishing, people are going to ask you, what line do you use and stuff like that. My motto is if you got moderators, talk to your moderators. Let them know what you're using, because that way they can tell you, your followers, if you're maybe away from I'm away from the screen, and I may be tying the hook or throwing the line out or changing some bait. They can answer those questions. Most of my moderators know. Most of my moderators know that 20 to 30 pounds is what I use. Right now I've got 30 pounds on this one. 30-pound braid. I use a barrel swivel just to connect the braid to the mono leader. And I got a 20-pound leader line. That's just what I use for my panfish and bass. So yeah, and another thing is, don't get in that hype of all the, what's the word I want to look for? The hype of all the, what's the word? The hype of all the, like what braid line, what mono line you should use. When I first started, I used mono. I hated braid, and now all these years later, I won't use anything but braid. I only use mono for leader. Because mono is cheaper, so it's a lot easier to break off that than the whole reel of braid if you get hung. But braid, I've learned that if you fish like I do, like almost every weekend, you're going to end up, spending a lot more money on mono than you would braid. I mean, mono has a memory coil. If y'all know, if you know what I'm talking about, you know. I mean, if you leave it on the reel for more than like 2 or 3 months, maybe even if you bought a brand new reel, and you do that first cast, it's like a little springy looking. That's mono for you. It's got coil. Braid has no memory. It has no stretch. Now that is a weakness for catfish. That's why I use a mono leader for catfish, because it doesn't have that stretch, so I get the best kind of both worlds. But now for panfish, I need that no stretch, So I use the mono just in case I get hung. I can break it off and not hurt my mono. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. Depends on where you get hung at. I mean, I have had the mono get hung with the braid, so yeah. But when it comes down to like what you're using, I would say do research. Like, don't let people, talk you into like gimmicks. Like, if you go around my area where I live in North Carolina and you talk to them and they'll say, well, you need to use, what is it? 30 pound, 80 pound, 90 pound, 100 pound. I've even heard some people using 150 to 200 pound braid for catfish. Yeah. Around my area, I've done the research. The average catch for the average fisherman is around 20, 10, and 30 pound 30 pound fish. That is your average catch, which means on a daily output, daily, going out fishing every day for the whole year, your average catch will be, 10 to 20 pound catfish, maybe the occasional 30. And that's honestly about right, because, I mean, all I've caught here lately is 3 pounds, 10 pounds. My biggest catfish is actually, I think, a 9 pound, 5 pounds. So, I mean, don't expect, expect it, but don't get disappointed when you don't get that 40, 50 pounder, because around my area in North Carolina, the Neuse River, the Tar River, the Catania River, all of them rivers, they don't put out more than like 50 pounds is like bragging rights around here. Like, it don't usually happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. Like I said, the state record here in North Carolina is 120. It's either 121 or 127. I think it's 121 on like blue catfish. I think channel cat is 40. Not too sure on that one. And then like the state record for flat is 78. So again, if you get above 100, you definitely got like major bragging rights. So again, if you get above 50, you know that only one of those numbers were above 50. So like I said, you don't really need, 100. The reason is if you get 100 to 200 pound braid, yes, I mean, then you're ready for anything. But the problem is that it will cast less because, the more wind, that got tongue tied, more wind resistance, and then of course you got less on your spool. So if you're gonna fight a big fish, and that's the thing about it is, to me, fighting the fish is where the sport is. So, I mean, I would rather, my go-to is 30 pound braid. The only reason my Penn 8000 has 60 pound braid on it is because if I put 30 pound braid on it, it would literally take 1,000 yards to fill it up. And I know what some people are going to be saying on the comments, well, why don't you just use, backing on it. I don't like backing versus, I mean, you're right, I could, but that reel is actually showing its age anyways. So, like, I'm even hesitated to even put new line on it now because the reel handle is beginning to give me a problem. So, again, it's like 8 years old. So, again, it don't owe me nothing. But, with that being said, yeah, I would definitely say, if you go out and fish and, just, find you a reel and it's like use 30 pounds and just make sure your area, like what your average catches is. Like I've looked it up on mine and the average catch is around 20-ish, 25 pounds. Like that's the average catch. 10 to 20 pounds is the average catch catfishing here in North Carolina. So 30 pounds would be more than enough. Also, what do you target? What are you targeting? This matters. If you're going to target catfish for eating like I do, I don't usually eat above 20 pounds. And the reason is I've ate a 3-pound catfish, I've ate a 10-pound catfish. Well, 9 pounds, excuse me. And both of them, I can tell you right now, the 3-pound tasted better. The higher up, and I've even asked professional anglers this, and charters that do like boat, things, and they tell you, in fact, some of them have a restriction of 20 pounds. Some of them even go lower than that. Because one, you take away the big ones that reproduce, and second of all, above 20 pounds, the flavor of the meat just ain't there. I mean, after 20 pounds, the flavor goes way downhill. Not saying you can't, eat a 40 or 50 pound catfish. You can't. But like I said, the flavor will not be sweet. It will not be flavorful. It will taste like mud. So I always go, plus, if y'all know anything about Country Boy, I've got a bad back. So, I can't really handle, I don't think I could handle, like, pulling in a 60, 70 pound. I do it for the sport, and I also do it for the food, too. Because I do love eating fish. And if you ever go to the store lately, that fish is expensive. I mean, just catfish in my area is $8 a pound. Not to mention, like, bluegill, don't even get me started. Bluegill fishing, eating is literally, bluegill, I think it's like $13 a pound. I mean, it's really expensive. So yeah, I mean that gets expensive. It's way more than anything else. And then of course salmon, yeah, don't get me started. That's like $10 a pound, and some places are even higher than that. But I mean, I just wanted to go over a few things that people have asked me. When I first got started, my tripod is all I had when I first bought it. It was like a $20 on tripod from Walmart. It was like 20 bucks. I think now they're like 24-ish. And a ring light from Walmart. Again, like I think I paid 15 bucks for it. And then over the years, I've spent probably about $300 in my lives, like with music and stuff like that. Again, I don't do it for the music. I mean, I don't do it for the money. I do it for mostly. I have two sponsors on my channels. This one, Clapper, and also on TikTok. One of them is Get Hooked to Kid Fishing, and then of course, they're a nonprofit organization. There's a big video about them if you want to know more about them. And then also there's another one, catchthefever.com. My code is CF010 will save you 10% on catchthefever.com. And that's another thing people ask me about, like sponsors. At first, I wasn't going to do sponsors. I was going to say that. And in fact, when I told everybody that I had a sponsor, people was like they couldn't believe it, because I mean, I wasn't that kind of person. Because one, if I'm gonna be genuine with my files, told y'all I don't edit none of it. If I'm gonna be genuine with my followers, then I am not going to sit there and lie about a product. In other words, if I see something wrong in the product or the way they handle themselves, I'm going to tell it. I mean, if I lose that, follower, that's okay. If I lose that sponsor, that's okay with my book. I would rather be honest than, I'd rather be transparent than be fake. That makes sense. Um, I've had, I'm not going to mention their name. I had a sponsor come up to me one time and say, "Hey, we'd love to sponsor you. Can you sponsor our product?" And I'm like, "Yeah, tell me more about it." And they told me about the product and stuff. They said, "Well, we'll give you a free," that they were willing to give me, money to sponsor their product. But the rules were I couldn't say nothing bad about their product. And I'm like, suppose I find something wrong that I don't like about it. Oh, well, you just can't say nothing about it, bad about it. And I'm like, that's a hard pass. I mean, I gave up that because, literally, I mean, it was an email about it, I think. And yeah, I mean, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've only gave one bad review, and that was a pen. And it's just that, again, it comes from my personal opinion. I didn't like it. Not that it was a bad thing. Some other people might like it. But if I see something like, that it's a bad product or it doesn't do what it says it's going to do, then yes. I'll definitely tell the followers, and that's why I only have, like, right now, one genuine supporter, sponsor, or affiliate, which is Catch the Fever. Like, I've been with them now for almost 2 years, have no issue with them whatsoever. If I, email the owner, they're always quick to respond to me and everything. So if you want to check out their product, use my code CF010 at catchthefever.com. They'll save you 10%. And then, of course, GetHookedToKidFishing.com. If you go to their website, there's a big thing about how they got started. I got a video on my TikTok and a video, I think, here on YouTube at how we got started and all that good stuff. Don't worry about the sponsors, I would say. I mean, as far as the, money, I didn't even know when we first started TikTok that I could make money on TikTok. Again, I think I told my followers I made like $40 max on TikTok in 1 year. So yeah, I don't really care. I do it for the kids' sake. When I first got started with Get Hooked, I did it because of the kids. I mean, I love seeing kids fish, catch their first fish. I have a daughter myself, so, I love seeing kids get excited over catching a fish. So, I love teaching them, like, how to cast, again, one of these, which is really complicated sometimes, and how to cast, like, an open bail. I will tell them how to cast a Zebco. I don't like those things. Me and them do not get along. But, yeah, I mean, overall, that's being said, that's why I do sponsor with them and be a volunteer with Get Hooked. Like I said, we are a nonprofit organization. Another thing I've always been asked is why the Country Boy Fisherman does not do tournaments. You will never see me in one, period. And there's a set reason why. If y'all know anything about Country Boy, let me tell y'all some background. I used to race bicycles. In fact, to this day, I still have a $5,000 road bike that I ride for enjoyment. Yes, $5,000. You heard it right. It was back then. It was a lean, mean racing machine. The bike only weighed like 14 pounds. It was fully carbon fiber. There really ain't no metal on that bike except for the drivetrain and I think the spokes that support the wheels. That's it. Everything else is like carbon fiber. The whole bike weighs like 14 pounds put together. And it was built like aerodynamic for speed and everything. And I was racing. I mean, I've done 4 miles in like 3 hours and a half, 4 hours. So I mean, it would book. I mean, I could pedal and it would definitely do like 4 hour 75 miles in under like 3.5 hours. So yeah, I could definitely do it. With that being said, I started racing that bicycle, and it cost money, and I was putting money into it to win money. And I got to where I got sick of racing, like cycling. Like I used to love that sport, and to this day I still love it. But when I was racing, I got to where I despised cycling because I was doing it for the money. I was in it for the wrong reason. Like I did it for enjoyment and health benefits first. But then I thought, oh well, I can get good at it and then make money off of it, like the pros do. And well, you know, with that being said, I mean, again, I was decent. I was a Cat 3, but then again, like I said, the expense of racing versus what you actually get ain't that much. Not to mention, like I said, the money's where it destroyed it, because like for me, it was like, it was a job, and most people don't like their job. So that's why I did what I did. And I kind of like, to this day, I will not race bicycles. I go out for enjoyment, like a cup of coffee, touring with friends and stuff like that. I don't go out for money no more with it. And that's why I don't do tournaments that's paid. Yes, I have done free tournaments where you like get to know the anglers and stuff like that, and I'll still do those right now. But when it comes to like paid tournaments, I will not do them because I feel like that if I start doing tournaments and fishing for money, I will end up hating fishing. So therefore, I will not ever set foot on a tournament where you won't ever see me in a tournament where it's paid. Like there's a payout to fish. Not to mention there are rules that I cannot agree with. Like most tournaments, you cannot keep the fish. Like if I'm gonna go out all night long and catch a fish, and then you're trying to tell me I can't eat and catch the fish that I'm keeping, knowing I wouldn't even like even if you don't win, you can't keep the fish, and I'm like, no. I mean, that's another thing. Like I go out for the food sometimes too, and then some tournaments are like, well, you gotta use a net to catch the fish because the grabbers hurt the fish, and I'm like, I mean, there's just too many rules nowadays in these tournaments, and then so many people cheat. I mean, cycling people were cheating, so yeah, definitely that's another reason why I will not do no tournaments in fishing. As far as bait goes, learn what's in your area. Like, I'll give y'all some heads up. Like, around where I live at, everybody swears by, like, bluegill and shad. I'll be honest with you. I have had zero luck with bluegill here in North Carolina. Like, I have tried bluegill for 2 or 3 years, and I really haven't. The only thing I've ever caught on bluegill is a bowfin. Now, I have had a bowfin. Now, it could be that those years I tried it, that fishing, this year, fishing has been really, really bad for catfish. I've only caught one, to be honest. So, yes, just stick with what you know. Like I said, I didn't know hot dogs would be good, but I've caught most of my catfish off hot dogs and garlic powder, like strawberry Kool-Aid. I mean, don't ask me why they like that, but they do. I've caught my biggest fish off of a hot dog and strawberry Kool-Aid. So, there you go. I have had hits on chicken before. Again, nothing on bluegill. Why, I do not know, but I have had zero luck on bluegill. Like I said, I've had hits on chicken liver, had catches on chicken liver. I've had catches on that. Now, next thing I'll be using is shrimp, trying that out. But, I have had zero luck when it comes to bluegill. Why, I do not know. But I did. So, take that with a grain of salt. When it comes down to it, you really, me personally, the way I look at it is if you're going to go fishing for catfish, make it a whole day thing. Because bait for catfish can get expensive, especially if you have to go buy it. Like I said, I'm not saying bluegill don't work. It just ain't never worked for me. Like I said, hot dogs have been my number one thing that has caught most of my catfish. So there's that. Like I said, I've never had anything that and chicken liver. So those two things definitely work. But like I said, I've never had bluegill. I mean, I've had a couple of hits off of them, but never no bites. So there you go. Make sure you know your baits, what works for you may not work for someone else. So hope I've covered everything. If not, leave a comment. I do check my comments from time to time in the YouTube channel. Make sure you check out my TikTok channel, Country Boy Fisherman Zero. Same logo, same username, and then also on Clapper.com, the Clapper app. I'm on there too as a backup. My main account, that will be TikTok. I just do long videos here. So y'all take care. Like I said, if you got any more videos or more questions for me, drop them in the comments. I'll try my best to get back to them as soon as possible. Thank you, and God bless you.